As far as starting getting into business, in parallel with our with my cancer research career, um, I looked into real estate. When I was at Cleveland Clinic, I saw several faculty members. They were laid off because funding was very difficult from NIH. And at the age of 50 or 53, a couple of my colleagues at that time, they lost their grants, and they were demoted or they were laid off at that time. Their children were in the college, and they were crying basically. I saw them crying, literally crying, meaning tears, waters in their eyes. They don't know what to do. So at that time, I was a project scientist. I decided that, you know what, I don't want to be in their situation 10 or 15 years later. And so I decided that we should invest into something else. We decided to build a house. And when we built that first house, immediately after building, within 1 year, it was amazing to see that there was a $150,000 or $200,000 increase in the value of that house. When you compare the other house in the neighborhood, the amount of money we put in there and the amount and the value of the house was, it was just amazing. I would not say that I learned it from somewhere or I got any formal training. It just happened naturally that I saw there is a value that we can do better than anybody else, in terms of getting the house built on an economical basis. During last 3-4 years, I made some mistakes, and they were not business decisions, they were actually emotional decisions. In order to help a friend who was really about to kill himself, his wife, and 2 children, and he was a very dear friend to me. So that my emotions came out, and I made an emotional decision to help him, and I just went out of my mind to help him. That's the reason, only reason actually, we got into a serious problem related to big losses. And so there are 2 things happened. So this loss with this friend, and the other one is that the whole real estate market collapsed. So these 2 double dip, that's the reason we got into this difficulty. Otherwise, if I could have handled one very easily, one or the other. So with this friend, we lost about $2 million. But thank God that we have this new business came. God gave us this new opportunity that we got into daycares, and that has really saved us. We rented this building out to an owner of already daycare, and then she and we were going to be partners in that daycare business. And I did all the legwork, going to the city, mayor, councilman, got that daycare approved in the city of Bedford Heights. And then after all the said and done, after 6 months, he said, Munna, you know what, it's not going to do well, and we'll just run this center, things aren't going to work out or whatnot. So I said, okay. So she was renting the building from us for 4 or 5 years. Then we get a letter from the attorney of the lady, and she asked us that she wants to move out and break the lease, and then in return, she wants to give us the daycare back, So we basically acquired the business. It was really a very poor managed, poorly run business. So we took over the first daycare in Bedford Heights. And then from there, we worked hard, Archana and I. We really renovated the building, decorated, refreshed and refurbished. In the meantime, we were looking for other places. And then so we found one more building, empty building, which was sitting empty for years in Cleveland. We acquired that building at a very cheap price. It's a 4,000 building for $90,000. So we put another $100,000 in that. So that building got turned into a really beautiful facility. And so that daycare is already up and running. Then you got the third one in Cleveland again. That was a failed business. We acquired that business and building both together on a very cheap price. So that again we turned back again, and that's doing well. Many times people ask me, oh, there are already so many businesses. Suppose somebody asks that, well, there are so many daycares already, okay? Then they say, oh, there are already so many gas stations, or there are so many cleaners shops. Yes, there are. So if there are 100 grocery stores in one town, and they are all 100 of them are running, then, and if you open 101, then why when the 101 will not run? So long you can do better, you can provide better service, better pricing, then why yours will not run? Well, running in good business, number one thing is your employees. You got to have, that's like number one thing. You have to have good employees, and we really pay serious attention to hire good employees.
How do you do that?
Well, we interview them, we look into their eyes, we try to gather information about them, what they have done in the past, whether we check their backgrounds. Second thing is that you can have best people out of the world, but you got to really pay attention. You cannot just leave alone them and let them do whatever they're doing. And then plus, then third thing is we got to be really manage money well, meaning that your bills to be paid on time, obviously. Employees should not have the insecurity. In the daycare business in Cleveland area especially, it's really a big problem. A lot of daycares are shutting down. I'm not afraid of any loss or any losing. I'm just not afraid. I'm very, there's one good thing I feel about myself. No matter what happens, if I lose my shirt, I will still be happy. You put me in jungle somewhere in Africa, I'll be happy. I'm not afraid of anything. During these all turbulent times, we lost in all our real estate market with all the losses. I decided that I'm not going to file bankruptcy, no matter what happens. I will fight it, I'll work with people, but I am not going to hide my face and walk into the society as a bankrupt. It's just not, again, this is a part of my personality. I said, you know what, I'm going to fight it, meaning I got to do right thing, pay everybody, whosoever I can pay, whosoever can work with me. Family is absolutely number one, thing on my mind and heart. I mean, nothing comes first. Every single time, even if I'm in any important meeting or wherever I am, if I see a call coming from my child or my wife, I always pick them, because you never know what situation they are. They might be in some difficult situation, or something might have gone wrong. I never actually miss any their days in the school or whatnot with children. My wife, we have been married for 23 years, and it's just amazing. I really couldn't ask any better life partner. I can tell you one thing is that we see a big difference between Kiowa County and Summit County. This daycare is in Summit County, and we have 3 daycares in Kiowa County. It's a big difference in running the affairs between the 2 counties. The system in Kiowa County is all messed up. They just are not functional. You leave a message, it's hard to get people there. Licensing is a big problem there. Here in Summit County, we got our license in 2 weeks. In Kiowa County, it will take 6 months. The working style, I don't know, who can solve this problem, but the whole county is messed up.